Hello, Fullness family. For those that don't know me, my name is Grant Grahamstad. First of all, I'd like to say how much I've enjoyed these devotions over the last, about 6 months now. They seem very rich, and it's really good to hear from you and what God's doing in your life and how you're finding joy and hope in the midst of your situations. And they're very encouraging and enriching. So just pray that they would continue. Well, I did some reading in the book of Luke, chapter 24, and had a few things that I want to share related to the road to Emmaus. On the road to Emmaus, there was two guys walking that were talking about the things that have happened after and around Jesus' crucifixion. And Jesus came up and started walking with them and asked them what they were talking about, and they started to tell him what it was. And then he basically told them through the scriptures, the Old Testament scriptures of that time, what was being said about him through the scriptures, what had been said by Moses and the prophets. And so they listened and got to their destination, and Jesus seemed like he was going further. He probably had some other things to do, being a busy man, and they urged him strongly to stay with them and break bread with them. And so he did do that. He responded to their urging, their requests, and he stayed and broke bread. And then when that happened, they said their eyes were opened and they realized who he was, and then he vanished from their sight. So then they were all excited and continued on to Jerusalem. And when they got there, they told their disciples that they had seen Jesus, and they were all excited. And all of a sudden, Jesus just appeared in their midst, which kind of scared them a little bit. But what he did was he showed up there, and after they realized who he was and they got over that, he opened their minds up to the scriptures. And so I saw a pattern there, that he first revealed to himself through the scriptures. Their eyes were open to who he was, and then later he came and opened their minds up to the scriptures. And so a few things that I saw in that was that number one, the scriptures are important for revealing who Jesus is, but sometimes just the scriptures alone were satisfactory enough that Jesus was ready to move on to the next village. But because they urged him to stay, they compelled him to stay even after they learned about him through the scriptures. Then their eyes were opened. So I think there's something about urging Jesus or the Holy Spirit to stay after we've studied the scriptures and we feel like we've learned what we can through the scriptures. Just wait on the Lord and urge him to stay until he blesses us with more revelation. Reminds me of Jacob when he was wrestling with God in the Old Testament, how Jacob said he would not let go of God until he gave him a blessing. And so God blessed him. So there is something about holding on to the Lord, urging the Lord, and he invites that. I think he wants that type of passion from us, to encourage us to learn more about him than just what is in the scriptures. And then as we do that, our eyes will be opened to more of what he has for us. So I just want to encourage you today to, whether it's your quiet time, whether it's a song on the radio you're listening to, whatever you do, whatever time you have with the Lord, I would just encourage you to wait on the Lord and urge him to give you something, some revelation, some spiritual food for your day and for your life. So I just want to leave you with those words. Love you, and have a good week.